Hey,
Yes, good morning.
good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Just give us a second. I'm just going to set this up so it doesn't
Take
keep moving.
it. Time.
So stuff like that doesn't happen, you know?
It's already happened to me like 5 times. So
Uh, I tell you, the old online is, I'm still not used to it yet, but I'm getting there, you know?
I'm using Zoom more and more now.
No, I haven't used Zoom for a class yet. I haven't done a class on Zoom.
You doing Facebook Live?
Yeah, just Facebook Live. So,
Yeah, I prefer
have
it
you
as
been
well.
using Zoom?
Not really. I tried it for some. Well, the problem in the UK is that you can't have you can't have like good music, as I call it. You can only have PPL music, otherwise it shuts it off.
Right,
So
right.
I've had to use Zoom for some of the classes where I need to use my own music or that I copyright. I can't use the copyright. It's very annoying because
Yeah,
every
no.
time I try to do an aerobic or step, I have to do it like kids' music or something.
Yeah, but you know what? I've been lucky. Some of the mixes that Francisco has given me from Music on Fit, um, majority of them are okay. I might get the odd little warning at the end of a class to say it's banned in Canada, but
Yeah,
it doesn't kill the whole video. You know, I've had 2 times where the whole video is being killed. That's it.
yeah,
It's
I
gone.
know.
I had to redo it. You know, but in general, I've been fairly lucky. You know that way.
Yeah,
Um, but it's not ideal, the whole
no,
online thing, but it is what it is. We have to make the most of it. We can't just kind of sit around and hope and pray that we're going to get back to the studio soon and stuff. You know, we have to keep moving, keep
no, and
things going.
I think that's the important thing is, you know, a lot of instructors now have to adapt. And it kind of gives us some motivation as well to like, oh, how can I do it better? How can I engage more people? So it does bring you there. So how many challenges have you done during lockdown? Press ups, planks?
Yeah, I've been. Do you know what? I think anybody who decides to take on a challenge seems to tag me in bloody everything. You know. Soon as anything fitness related, you know, people think, oh, Keith will do that, Keith will do this, you know. But yeah, I'm forever getting tagged in all these different challenges for so many different things. Um, but a lot of the challenges, they're challenges, but they're creating problems. If you're just doing press ups and only press ups for
Yeah,
24
yeah.
hours straight, you're creating muscle imbalances and stuff, you know. So there's a lot of challenges being thrown out there,
Mm.
but they're not being really taught out. You know, they're actually doing more harm than good, in my opinion. Some of them, you know.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, do you ever get that with people telling you like, oh, I'll run a marathon for a good cause, but I've never trained in my life? Feels
Yeah,
like that. It's like I've never done a press up in my life, but I'll do 25 press ups every day.
a day for the next 25 days. You know, so it's yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy. I've gotten actually since lockdown. There's a lot of people getting into doing cycling. You know, long
Yeah.
distance, like that. People who's never ran before have started to get involved in these little virtual marathons and stuff like that. And I've spoke to some of them, you know, and they've been reaching out to me, asking me like, "What can I do? My knees are in bits, my ankle." You know, so I don't know. But look at people are just trying to do it, trying their best and doing stuff for a good cause. You know, they don't really
Yeah.
see the bigger
No,
picture. You
the
know.
intentions are good. Yeah, the intentions
Yeah.
are good, and it's like everybody's trying to stay active. But it's, I mean, that's where our responsibility kicks in, on telling people how to do things right, rather than them just killing themselves going from 0 to 100. And
Yeah.
that's the main reason I wanted to talk to you. So last year we were in Blackpool. You did an aerobics class. You did a basic aerobics class, and
Yes.
on stage you said that if we keep going like this, it'll just be us dancing on an empty stage,
Yeah.
in an empty room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's so I mean, And I see that a lot. So how, first of all, you want to talk to me a little bit about your project? What are you starting now?
Yeah, well, look, I've had a conversation for my background in step and aerobics, you know, and realistically, it's been 8 years of me doing freestyle. I've been 15 years in the industry, but the last 8 years, realistically, is where I've kind of really focused on kind of the step and the aerobic elements. You know, like I've always done freestyle, as in I wasn't part of a franchise. You know, so
Yeah.
I've always taught like freestyle classes, like aero combat and stuff like that. It wasn't Les Mills. Like I was always creating my own classes to music, you know. But yeah, so my experience in freestyle for the last 8 years, you know. So for the last 8 years, as you know, I've been traveling around different conventions, and I've been all over the place. You know, I've been from Japan to Ukraine, Spain, Italy, France, Poland, Slovenia. I've been in many different places, you know, and everywhere where I've gone, we're getting the same kind of feedback when it comes to freestyle. You know, there was a period where freestyle was booming, and then just over a period of time, it's just gone down, 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 down. You know, and I don't think there's one reason for that. I think there's many reasons for that. You know, so over the years, I've had conversations with people like yourself, people like Steve Watson, Anastasia Alexandri, Ivan Coim, all these guys. You know all these guys as well from being on the scene. You know, and we're all agreed that something needs to be done about freestyle. You know, but how to go about that has been really, really difficult, I think, for people, you know. As I said, there's many reasons. So from my experience, yeah, just my experience is one, so if you're a stepper now, it's really, really difficult, or if you're into freestyle dance aerobics, it's really, really difficult to one, find a gym or a, a sports hall, someone that's providing those type of classes. Then if you do find somewhere that is providing those type of classes, if you're someone new who wants to get involved in these classes, chances are the class that's in that sports center or gym you have found has probably been established for a long time, has probably been fought tooth and nail by the participants and the instructor to keep that time slot, you know. So availability of classes was a problem and still is a problem. Then when you go and you actually find the class, then it's finding the right level for you, you know. So if you're somebody who's looking to try something new, to get involved in a class, and again, a lot of stuff that I say here today, I'm not just reflecting. So if I talk about what happens in classes, it's not just about my class. I'm talking like
no, it's in general. I know, I get it. It's the same thing for
I
everyone.
want to be clear on that, because I don't want any people who've done my class think, is he talking about us in that way? Because it's not. It's the same story everywhere you go, you know. So so finding a class was really, really difficult. And then if you did find a class, finding a level for you was another problem, you know.
Absolutely.
But I don't know how it is in other countries in the education. So just coming from an instructor's point of view, and new instructors coming into the industry.
Well, that's a big point I wanted to talk about, education. So just finish what you're saying, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, so from my experience, I was tutoring on, I won't name the actual courses that I was tutoring on here in Ireland, but they're well-established courses, you know. And from my experience, what I have found is that even from, I don't know how to say this without sounding cruel, to be honest, you know,
No, go on. Be
Even from
honest.
the base, where the instructors start from, like I found through my experience, and I've been guests in other colleges and that, you know. So I can't. I'm not just talking about one place in particular. I'm talking what I've kind of seen it across the board, you know. A lot of guys that are even delivering the freestyle elements of the courses, I don't think they've actually established themselves as a freestyle instructor first before they actually start teaching and tutoring the classes, you know, start tutoring that discipline. On top of that, from my experience, as I said, over here in Ireland, freestyle is being seen just like as a box ticking thing. You know, it was something that you had to do as part of your fitness education to become a fitness instructor. So there wasn't a whole lot of emphasis being put on the freestyle side of teaching here in Ireland in particular, you know. And
Well,
there was a lot, and even the message was kind of like, you just need to get through your exam, and then when you go out, you'll probably do circuits or wherever. You probably won't even, there's not much of a demand for step and stuff like that. So we found here, even at the get-go for the instructors, there wasn't a lot of encouragement, you know, to say, look, give this a go, try this. It was just, so from that element, even to try to get instructors to get involved in the discipline, to want to do the discipline, from my experience, there was blockades from even when they were doing their education, you know.
well, it's very difficult to have instructors try something if they don't get motivated to do it. So, for
Exactly.
example, I teach Pilates and at a very high level, and I've had a few people following the classes that decided to go and do a course because they want to do Pilates. And when they did the course, what they told them was like, "Oh, you can't do like classic Pilates because it's dangerous for you." And in the end, it comes down to that because they can't do the exercises, they name them dangerous, which is absolutely mental. And I think it does come to what you say. So if somebody teaches freestyle, but they've only done like Les Mills and or they've only done like very patented franchise products, and they're not getting their creativity on a paper, it is very hard to motivate people to do the same. And a big thing as well that comes to it is that courses are getting cheaper, durations are getting shorter. I mean, my course took about, I did my course in Greece in 2011. It took me about 3 months to complete. So I had 3 months of weekends, and I had to do my practicals and everything. And if you want to become, let's say, a step instructor, in the UK, you can have your ETM. You can have it online now. You don't even need to go. You just need to send a video. And then you're doing a 1-day step course. So it's, as you said, it's multifaceted. It's not one thing, but it is really hard to get instructors to go in if they don't have like a role model. I mean, I've been taught by great instructors in Greece, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And I'm assuming it's the same for you.
Well, believe it or not, people find this quite funny, but everybody kind of on the international scene anyway knows me as a step aerobics guy, you know. But step, believe it or not, was my kryptonite. So like for years I was combat, believe it or not, combat, freestyle, kind of like the toy ball, you know, the Billy Blanks, that type of stuff.
You're very explosive, so it makes sense.
Well, that's how I kind of built my reputation as a fitness instructor here in Dublin, here in Ireland. It wasn't got to do with step. Like, believe it or not, step was my kryptonite. Step was the one discipline that I absolutely hated. I'm gonna be honest, you know. I think you know me anyway. I wear my heart on the sleeve. I always say as I say it and as it is, you know. But,
absolutely.
But step was my kryptonite. Step was that one class that I just couldn't wrap my head around, you know. So all the instructors that I used to try and go in and shadow their classes and stuff like that. Now, lovely people, And a few of them tried to, you know, bring me in the studio, give me some one-to-one time, but it just wasn't clicking, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it was even at one point, I used to see some of the people from combat and they'd be doing step classes and I'd be like, traitor, you know, why you doing step class, you know? So what happened was then the boss where I worked she was an amazing instructor, but she became pregnant, you know, so she was out more. And I had to keep going into bloody step classes and saying, sorry guys, Sandra was the girl's name. Sandra's not here today, so we're gonna do some combat. Come on, you know yourself.
Yeah,
Freestyle
absolutely.
steppers, they
Freaking
want
out, yeah.
step. So if they want step, you know, they want step, new fresh steps, all this type of stuff. And then I used to walk in and say, sorry guys, there won't be any step today. We're going to do combat instead. And 80% of the room would walk out, you know. So it was completely soul destroying, absolutely soul destroying, because I was going in to give me best, you know.
Yeah.
I'm still a fairly new instructor. And I care, you know me, you know, I care
Absolutely.
so much.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so that was destroying me, you know, going in saying, sorry, we're gonna have to do this class. So for teaching step, my whole thing at the start was to be at least able just to hold the fort, you know. So when I got into step, that was my thing. I just want to be able to, at least when I go in, that I can hold the fort and at least cover a class, you know.
Yeah.
But little did I know that, I don't know, you probably know of Guillermo Gonzalez Vega.
Yeah.
From
I do.
from Euro Education. So Euro Education, they actually rented the center that I was working in, the YMCA. They rented the studio and the halls to do like a mini event. So as an employee there, we got a few of the employees could, you know, jump in for free if we wanted to kind of see how it was going on, you know. So of course I end up jumping in. Every 2 minutes I'm kicking the step, walking away, getting back, and you know, so I was getting really frustrated. I don't have to be the best at something, but I can't be the worst. I'm okay in the middle. You know, I don't have to be number one, but I can't be the last, you know. So it was really, really frustrating. And so I ended up talking to Guillermo at the end of the event, you know, and I asked him, look, are you going to be doing any courses or anything soon? Blah, blah, blah. So to cut a long story short, I ended up doing the course then, you know.
Yeah. Was that in Germany?
Not for me. Yeah, no, well, he came to Dublin to do it. Guillermo came to Dublin to do it. You know, it was organised in Dublin by another girl organised it. So he came to Dublin to do it. On day one, I was told, well, he suggested that I go off for a few months, get some practice. Honestly, this is how bad. So on day one, he had a look, called me at the end of the day, and he says, maybe you need to go get some practice for a few months. I'll keep this open for you. I won't charge it again, you know. So I just looked him in the eye and said, no, you'll see me tomorrow, you know. So I stuck it out for the 4 days. And by the end of the 4 days, I don't know what he did, but he got inside my head and just started pushing buttons, and I was having eureka moments and stuff like that. And he inspired me, you know.
Yeah, but you're very hardworking as well. I mean, every time I see you in a convention, you're like there, like focused 100%. So when you put something into your mind, you work like crazy. Sometimes you overdo it. You work a bit too much. But you are very hardworking, so it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And actually, it was funny because even Guillermo said it, because I seen him then a year after that. And like I was into bodybuilding and triathlon. Like I'm not a dancer. You know, I don't come, like people have said to me, like, you must come from a dance background. No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even dance in the nightclubs with my friends. I'd have been a little shoulder popper here in the corner, you know. You wouldn't have got much movement down me. So but doing step aerobics and dance and freestyle, like I can't put into words how much confidence it's given me, you know.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, like I could never dance, you know. Like my brother, believe it or not, he's the dancer, you know. He was Irish dancing champion. It's in the family. I have dance teachers in the family. My nanny was a music teacher, so maybe it was me calling, you know.
There you go. Maybe genetics was there, and it just didn't show up.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't believe we're born to do things. I believe we're born with the choice to do what we want, you know. Like obviously
Absolutely.
there's certain elements I think within the DNA, but I think for me getting involved in freestyle, the knock-on effect I had, like I honestly couldn't put it into words. Like to be able to do something that you thought you could never do, you know, this is not me, you know. And look, I remember coming home and I remember the reaction on people's face because bear in mind, I'm like football, into all like real kind of aggressive, kind of explosive kind of, you know, martial arts, into all this type of stuff. And I remember coming home, and this is funny, like I still didn't know me left from me right, and I came home and told the family, I'm going to be Ireland, I'm going to be an international dance presenter. When I still didn't know me left from me right. But I just, you know what, I just got such a belief from meeting Guillermo was a big. So like what we were saying at the start, when you go into the college, it's down to your mentor, to the tutors as well there to help inspire you. Because I had tried it with many people, I'd been to the FitPro conventions and loved for it. Like at the start of my career, I remember doing a step class there with Denise Page, and she said, "You're a combat guy, you know, from looking at me even doing the step class. Maybe step isn't your thing. Maybe you should add some combat to step or something, you know." So meeting someone like Guillermo, he gave me the confidence, gave me not just the confidence, but gave me the tools as well. So he explained things very simple for me to give me the tools and give me the confidence to do it and move on, you know, to try and push.
I think that when somebody is at that level, they can kind of like pass it on to you even without speaking, because you admire them a lot. Well, it's the same thing. It's the same story with me, because I was into bodybuilding, like really stiff guy, doing sports all my life. I used to play basketball. And then at some point I was like bored of gyms, and I'm like, you know what? I had a friend, he was a dancer. He used to dance for the National Ballet. He was like, oh, why don't you try contemporary dancing? And I was like, what's that? What do they do there? You know, like, and so I tried it and I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it because the teachers were amazing, and they were like giving you that. They were not putting pressure on me like, oh, you can't do it or you can't do this. There was just like, just try it, do it. And I think that with men, we have a taboo inside of us when it comes to dancing and moving. Because even when I started dancing, my mother was like, oh my God, what's going on now? You're 24 years old. I started to turn over. I was like, no, I'm just enjoying it. It's like, yeah, that's how everybody starts. I'm like, oh, no, chill. But it does. And because we have so much energy to give, when you let go of that taboo, when you flip the key, it just goes out. It's incredible. And I think that once you get the mental like blockade out of the room, but you need somebody who's who has passion about it, who's very knowledgeable and experienced to kind of tell you like, look, this is it, do it, get it out. I mean, every time I watch Anastasia, for example, it's like my head blows. It's how can you do that? It's so simple, but it looks so amazing. So you kind of need those kind of people to trigger you. It's very hard to get that trigger.
Kick up the ass as well to keep working, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because anytime, that's why I think now during this lockdown, I'm finding it a bit difficult because I'm not getting to connect with my friends, you know, getting to see guys like yourself, people like Anastasia, because what happens is now, obviously there's no classes going on, but when you're in your little local bubble, you're in your local little club, and everyone's telling you that was great, you're amazing, blah
You
blah
get
blah.
complacent, yeah.
You can, you know. So that's why I'm always my own biggest critic, you know. Like, I don't believe in the hype. Like, I'm grateful for everybody who gives me a compliment, but
Yeah.
I cannot believe them. If I believe them, I'm in trouble, you know. But when I
I'm
travel,
with you on that. Yeah, I'm
you
with you on
know,
that 100%.
I'm grateful. Thank you very much for the compliment, but I just cannot believe you, because if I believe you, I start to believe the hype, you know. I start to think you're a rock star, you're better than anyone else. So no. So that's why when I travel and you see people like Anastasia on stage, but not just Anastasia. There's all different elements. So
yeah, there's so many people. Yeah.
You know, so you may see Anastasia and you see technique and you see style, and then you see someone else, how they're engaging, how they're interacting. They mightn't have as much technique and style. So everybody is bringing something to the table, you know. But every time I go to events, if you did think you were anyway good, you're eating humble pie every time, because there's always something there that's doing a little bit. So it's good, you know. You're always getting inspired. And there is no finish line, you know,
No,
in my opinion, no finish line. And if you think you're at the top, I'm sorry, there's only one place left you can go, and that's down.
Yeah.
You know, if you think you're here, there's only one place left, and that's down, you know.
Absolutely.
But you're right, yeah. So to see guys like what you said, to do something that looks so simple but just ends up being so beautiful. But that's dedication, that's hard work, that's a lifetime of work being put in, you know.
And that's the thing. I mean, because I've done this mistake in the past, where I thought, you know, I used to see something that simple. I was like, oh, I can do it. It's so easy. And every time I did it, it didn't come out. And then you just have to work on it like 2 or 3 years to suddenly understand that it's not that. It looks simple, but it's definitely not simple. It takes a lot of hard work behind it. Yeah. So back to what we were talking. So last week I had to cover a class for Alistair. Okay. And so I'm thinking the class, I've set up the class and I'm thinking, okay, this is an easy, like, beginner's intermediate class. And halfway through the first block, I've lost half the people. And I'm like, you know what? I need to scale it down even further. So do you think that we get used to teaching at a very high level and we find everything simple in our mind? So it's on one edge, it's hard for us to downscale it to like basic 3 knees. And maybe that's a reason we can't get people in.
I think, you see, the biggest thing is, you know, when we meet up at any event, and this is for every event, and every time you meet up with the presenter team, what's the first kind of thing we're looking for from each other? We're always looking at what's the level, you know? Where's the level at, you know, and trying to get an idea of the level. And you know yourself, like if you're teaching first on some gigs, you can't get an idea, you know? So, and then the level varies from country to country. Do you
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So like it depends on where you are. So level 1, let's say a level 2, let's say in the UK, yeah? Say a level 2 plus, or that could be just like an introductory level in, say, France, or it's seen as a level 1. Like I'm seeing some classes that are being put up as level 1, yeah? Or maybe level 1 plus. But for UK and Ireland, it's level 2, 3, in my opinion, you know? So I think depending on the country, so the country, it's so hard to judge the levels, you know, to get the level. And then, like what you said, if you're going in and you're probably thinking, but I just did a 3-knee repeater, for example. So you're thinking that's probably being lazy because you didn't create anything. That's just the base. A 3-knee repeater is just the base. It's like a build-up step, you know? And in some places, it's enough. Like you could use the 3D repeater, I don't know, V-step reverse, and it's woo, and the people are loving it. So that's why with the welcome to freestyle, with me kind of coming up with this project, it's so hard, because you have, as I said, I don't know if you watched the video probably. So there's level 1, 2, and 3, but there's no real kind of introductory level, like a level 0. Like this is a step, this is how we step up and down. I think it's, with it being a new skill set, there's a lot for people to think about when they're doing it. So you've got the box, okay? So the people are worried about stepping their foot fully up on the box, trying to look, where is the box, where is the instructor, you know? You've got so many different things when it comes to stepping. And I think getting the levels right is very, very difficult. It's the hardest thing. For me, give me an advanced class all day. So if we're asking, so if I was to say to you, right, Aldo, what's the level? And you tell me the level's high, go for it. I'm delighted. You're happy, because teaching the most advanced, we make a change, they follow it. That's easy. To teach a beginner's class is the most difficult thing, in my opinion, you know, to teach a complete beginner. And I think what happens then as well, I don't know, because you said you were covering a class there as well. So if you're going into cover a class, obviously you're going into, you want to represent yourself too when you're going into to cover it. You're not going in to show up the other person, you know, but you're going in to show like you're always representing you at the end of the day. So you want to do something that is a bit cool, or you want them to take something. I don't know, every time I teach a class, I like to have one part of the class where I know it's going to get it well, you know, or wow, that was cool, or, you know, just a little bit of something like that in the class. So
yeah, absolutely. And you need to get through your personality, and it's easier that you can engage with the people rather than go in there like, okay, this is what I'm teaching, I don't care if you can do it or not, and then go out.
Yeah, but you've probably covered some classes, not just talking about that particular class, but you probably went to cover some classes and you've probably been told they'll follow whatever you do, you know, and then you turn up there and they don't follow the basics sometimes, you know.
Yeah, it's happened many times.
And there's different styles, there's different methods that people use. Like, so I remember covering a class one time, and I had done the class before, and I'd seen them doing stuff, and what they were doing looked really complex, you know. But I didn't realize until later that they didn't have any method to get there. So they were kind of doing the same thing over and over. Like the choreography didn't change for months, you know. So it took people months to kind of get it. And so you're seeing people doing certain things. Well, I've even seen sometimes people on events and they're doing really complex things, but they brought 10 people with them, and then 10 people have done that choreography probably 6 times.
yeah, I get it.
Before the event, you know. So like, I've seen, from my experience, I haven't seen a lot of correct use of methodology, and I think that's where the biggest problem is. If people are using the correct use of methodology that's logical and easy for people to understand, then it shouldn't be a problem. If let's say if you were to go in and cover and your methodology is sound and my methodology is sound, realistically the people shouldn't have a problem being able to follow. But the problem is there's such a vast difference in methodology, you know.
Well, do you find that, I mean, for example, I find that's a difference in level of education. For example, in the UK, you've got level 2 who are instructors, they are instructing, and then you got level 3 who are trainers. So a trainer needs to know what he's talking about. As you say, he needs to know the methodology behind it. But a level 2 instructor, he doesn't need to, he just instructs you what to do. So for example, if somebody is doing a squat and I don't know the proper squat technique, I don't care. I just say, do the squat, do it this way. But if you're a trainer and then you see like, oh, you need to be careful of your knees, oh, your back is bending, oh, this is bending. And I find it's the same thing when it comes to freestyle classes. So whether you're doing body conditioning or a step or aerobics, there's that different in education and level where you are either presenting something, you're instructing it, or you do have a methodology behind it to support it, where you say like, look, I'm turning this way, I'm looking to that point. When I do the turn, I want to look back into this point. So you, as you say, a methodology plays a massive role. And what I think is by creating more and more pre-choreographed classes, we lose that critique, that thinking that, oh, I have to build the class on my own. I need to think, how am I going to pass it over to the people? What words am I going to use? How am I going to visualize that? And I find that with a lot of pre-choreography, which keeps going on and on, people lose the creativity and the ability to adapt if something doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things don't work out. So you need to be able to adapt. Do you see that in, I mean, I can see it a lot in the UK, where people, if something goes wrong, they kind of freak out or they just keep going as normal. Do you see that in Dublin? I mean, I don't know how the industry is.
You know what? I don't want to just do a disservice to the UK and to Ireland. I see it in other places too. You know, I see it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm not just saying. I'm not saying this is only in the UK.
I just want to be clear that it's not just here. It's a global thing. You know, it's a global
it's the fitness industry in general. I'm not just talking to the UK. I'm just saying that that's where I'm now.
Because there's a guy in, I'm nearly sure he's in Australia. And when I put up my video explaining the welcome to freestyle, one of the girls, Anastasia, who does colour fit, she tagged a blog that one of the guys in Australia wrote up. And it's basically the exact same issues that we're having here, you know?
Yeah.
But coming back to what you said, look, even when I'm sure you have it when you're traveling around and you're presenting and doing stuff, you always have options. Like when you go into a class, like if something, so for example, like I think us instructors have a big part to play in freestyle going down over the years. Like we as instructors need to take a bit of ownership of it, you know, because I tell you why. So what you were saying there is people are, let's say if you're doing a block and it's too much and people can't adapt, you know, so let's say block 1 and block 2 is a little bit more difficult than block 1, you know. If they're struggling on block 1, it's not logical to make block 2 more difficult. But a lot of people have, well, this is what I prepared. I can't deviate away from what I've already prepared, you know. And so for me, like, I don't think there's any time I've actually went on stage on an event and being able to say, right, prepared exactly what I was going to do before I went up and do that when I got there. Like I always have a few options. Like what you said at the start of this video, every time you see me on convention. But that's because I'm having A, B, C, D, and E. I don't have one class prepared for each session. I've 2 to 3 options for each session, you know. So if I make a change and I snipe or foil people out of the class because it's too difficult, I have to regress it. I can't keep making it more difficult. So that's why when you see me like a madman to hours, you're coming in from the party and I'm still practicing, people are coming in drunk and I'm still practicing, you know. But that's why I do that. So when I get up there, I don't have one class for that hour. I generally have 2 to 3 options for each. Now, when I say options, you could be talking like 7, 8 different blocks I could have ready in my head, just in case I get in there for whatever reason, you know. and things don't go well. So I think it starts from the instructors, from us, what we're delivering, you know, and like beyond the conventions, take it away from the conventions. I think the instructors really have to understand what you're doing, you know, inside out. You need to know your method inside out before you're doing it, you know. And I think with the pre-choreographed stuff that's came along, you can just practice, rehearse this one thing and just go over and over again. So like that, if something is going wrong, people can't deviate, you know. And like I've heard from, no, I don't mind saying, I've heard a lot from Les Mills instructors when they see people that, like, let's say they're doing a body pump and they can see people are struggling and they want to get off the stage and go, but then if they go, they're going to miss out on the beat and they're going to affect the whole class. So they're not even able to go around and correct different people's technique, you know. So I think the biggest problem obviously has been business. How can we generate more bodies coming in? How can we simplify things, make it easier on people and stuff like that, you know? But it hasn't helped us, you know. I don't want to blame free choreographed stuff only on it, because there was still freestyle instructors there, and there is still guys out there doing freestyle. We can't just blame it all on the
No, it's, you know, it's important to explore things, and we're not blaming anyone, because in the end, the industry is changing constantly. We just need to be aware of what we can do and keep doing our best. I mean, you can try and blame it on one side, but then you're just ignoring what we're not doing good enough.
Yes, exactly. I think we need to take a little bit of ownership on it, you know.
Definitely,
And like, even for me, when I first started to present, I was worried as much about what the other presenters thought I was doing as I did the participants in the class.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and I'll be honest, I've no problem saying that, you know, and I feel I've made mistakes when I first started teaching freestyle classes, when I start getting confident teaching freestyle, because remember what I said earlier, it was something that I couldn't do before. So it's like all of a sudden this new skill. So I'm like, how far can I go with this? You know, how much more can I go? How more technical can I do a step? Let alone teach. How technical can I start going with this? So at the time when I was starting to get into freestyle and starting to introduce people into freestyle, I was trying to grow the people at the same time I was trying to grow myself, you know. And I feel personally the big mistake that I made was when I started doing freestyle, I started in my head, I want to increase the level of freestyle in Ireland. Why increase the level of something that has no demand? My thinking was wrong. I need to create popularity. I need to start making freestyle popular instead of having in the head, oh, the level of freestyle is low here. I want to bring the level of freestyle up. If we want to increase, my mentality should have been, I want to increase the popularity of freestyle. Then when you have it popular again, you have people there and you want to start increasing the levels. So for me, as an instructor, I've made mistakes from freestyle.
Don't let me get into how many mistakes I've made.
No, but I'm being honest, you know,
Yeah,
I don't think many instructors won't admit this. And there's a lot of ego within this industry. I've made tons of mistakes, you know, and my thought process was completely wrong, you know, and I've had to take a step back and accept that and take it on the chin. So that's why with the welcome to freestyle, I've been bashing my head for a long time, you know, of how will I get people involved in this? So then I was thinking of all the different blockades. Can't find a class, can't find your level. Okay, you do find the class. Okay, you're new to the class. It's already established. You walk in, people are standing in steps. You don't know if you're going to stand on someone else's step, if you're taking someone else's place. chances are, if you're a new person walking into the established class, the people are looking and hope at you that you have some experience, that you're not going to slow down the whole class.
Yeah.
So that's going to intimidate the people. Then the people is worried about, okay, I have this step here in front of me. I might fall over the step. I don't want to keep asking the instructor to show me again in case I slow these people down. I don't want to ruin their class, and all these different things that would be stopping people from getting involved in freestyle. Then does the instructor look disappointed that someone new has come in, and because they have prepared for the last 2 days in advanced class, and now they're going to have to tone it down, and they can you see where I'm getting? So no,
absolutely. Oh, I've been through all of that. I've as you say, I've been through all of that. I've been through disappointed people coming into the class, disappointed regulars, disappointed me. I've been through all of that, so I totally understand. So how does Welcome to Freestyle work? Have you got a time period? Are you doing it daily, monthly? How do people get integrated into it?
Right. Well, to be honest with you, I was bashing my head for a few, because I was thinking now is a good opportunity, you know, for people, because the blockades is gone. You don't have to find a studio. You don't have to go and find a class. Now there's tons of freestyle classes online. If you look, really, every presenter, you can get freestyle classes every day. You can get them on reruns, you know?
Yeah, that's what one member was telling me. She was like, oh my God, this lockdown is the best. I get like freestyle everywhere, every day. I'm like, good.
Yeah. You know, Emily was saying it's great, because I thought Emily at the start, I see she was handpicking, like she has, like you can handpick, like she's making a timetable on her phone and going. So now there's more freestyle available to people than I've ever experienced it, you know. But like that, because we're online, there's still not much freestyle available for the people, the new people that want to get involved. Because I know from a lot of instructors, we're trying to tap into that already existing freestyle
market,
established community, and that's what's been happening, you know, and putting up classes, and you can see nearly all the classes, they're not very basic level, you know. There's an element of show, and look, you can't blame people are going online. They want to be doing something cool. Nobody wants to go online and do something very basic.
That's the thing about the ego you were telling as well. I mean, imagine that if you see an international presenter doing a basic class online, you need guts to do that.
Yeah.
You need to have balls to say, like, look, I'm going basic.
Yeah, well, I stopped caring what people thought about me a long time ago. Like, I am my own biggest critic, you know. It doesn't matter, you know. Like, you know what drives me absolutely crazy in fitness, right? And this is across the board in fitness. We tell everybody to get outside their comfort zone. But then you get a step outside their comfort zone, then it's, oh, but I only do this. Practice what you bloody preach. You're telling people to get outside their comfort zone. Oh, but I only teach spin. I won't do anything else.
Yeah.
We need to inspire them across the board. Like, if you're saying get outside, lead by example on things, you know? Don't just say to do this, that, and the other. Now, for me, I get outside my comfort zone. There's certain things I don't lead by example, let's say, when it comes to eating enough meals and getting enough sleep at times, you know. But I'm not online being a nutrition guru or being a, you know, a stuff like that. Like, I'm teaching freestyle and doing stuff, like, you know, like, we're all guilty of not practicing what we
100%.
What we preach at times, you know. But I know if I'm doing something, and to be honest, like, even when I did do the first little video, I was saying, just because in case anybody just joined in and looking and saying, this is for me, welcome to freestyle. Because there still is a little bit there thinking, how does this look? Does this look? What do I look like? But you know what? We need to put all that aside. You know, we need to forget about all the bloody false ego. Put it aside. At the end of the day, you need people to get out there, bring it back to the basic level. I don't care how I look, as long as I can bring people into the freestyle world. That's the whole aim. The whole aim is not to, oh, look at me, I do it, I'm a fancy. No, no, no. The whole aim is to get people involved in what we're doing, to get them into as a gateway into the world of freestyle. You know, so I don't care if I do a class that's, I don't know, B step, two basic, one knee up, and that's the finish. I don't care. I don't care. All I want to do with the welcome to freestyle is get people confident, stepping, you know. And if they don't have a step, with the welcome to freestyle, I'm actually encouraging people to do it without a step, because remember what I said, the fear of falling over the box. So that's one thing. So if you don't have a step, you don't need it. I'm not, because people is to try something new, or I'll have to go out and invest in a step. I'll have to sign up for the class. I'm giving the first 5 classes free. So you don't have to invest nothing in. You can, I don't know if you can see. You can actually. So I have to take on the floor, you know. At the start of each class, I'll give them the measurements to put down. So there's no fancy equipment needed. So I'm trying to make it. So the welcome to freestyle. Now it's not just going to be about step aerobics, you know. I want to do dance, aerobic dance as well. But the whole thing with welcome to freestyle is taking out all those blockades. You know, I don't have a step. Fine, you don't need one. All you need is a piece of tape. And even if you don't have tape, fine. You know, use a piece of marker, wipe it off, or whatever. You don't need any experience. Or will I have to ask the instructor 50 times to show me that step? You have rerun, you know? So you can rerun, you can repeat over and over again. You're not taking someone else's space, because it's chances are it's your home, you know? There's no one there watching you unless your family's there. There's probably kids or something there, or the pet can see you making a mistake, but there's no one there to see you make the mistakes, you know? So I think now is a really good opportunity to introduce people into the world of freestyle. You could do it at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, even if they're embarrassed to do it in front of their family. You can put an earphone in, you can practice at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I think there's so many blockades that we had before, and I think with this whole online thing now, we've got less and less blockades. And even I've decided to keep it on the Facebook as well, because if I'm on, let's say, Zoom, and I'm watching the guys, then I can see them making mistakes, and then that could embarrass them too. Makes any sense.
Right.
You know. So so yeah, for me, and as I was saying earlier in the chat, like, and this is not just me, like, this is other people. So even recently, just before the lockdown, I had a couple of lads get involved. You know, one man is over 65 years of age who started to do step for the first time. You know, and there's another lad. He's not quite that age, you know, but another chap just got into freestyle, and he was literally like only in a matter of a couple of weeks, you know, and he's been in a job for a long time that I don't think he was too happy, you know. He wasn't too happy there, but he said it to me. This is coming from this guy, like, the confidence just from getting in, trying a new skill, doing something else, that knocked on into life. So, like what I said about me, for example, I never danced in my life. Then I go and I do this, and bang, I feel I can do anything I put my mind to now. Like, it's given me such a confidence. So I think beyond getting fit, probably getting a little bit healthier and stuff like that, I think if people can just any sort of new skill, any sort of achievement, no matter how big or small it is, I don't think people realize the domino effect that can have in life. You know, it may just seem like something really, really small, but that small piece of confidence. Look, I meet some of the friends that I went to school with today, and they think I've gone crazy. They would have never thought in a million years I'd be teaching dance fitness. From the boy I was growing up to what I'm doing now, traveling around teaching dance fitness. My mates literally can't stop laughing. They can't believe the transformation, you know? They literally can't believe the transformation.
It,
So,
yeah. No, it's
so
amazing. I mean, all you say, it's amazing, and I mean, you've done an amazing work for yourself. But it's important that we understand that our role. I mean, I'd written an article about this, but our role in the fitness industry is not to train people; it's to change their behavior. It's to get them going, doing things they didn't think they can do, getting them like to look up to better versions of themselves. So, this comes to complete like opposition to the no pain, no gain thing.
yeah,
So, and it's not, we need to see our role as not only as instructors, but also as educators, as psychologists, as people who are able to change the behavior, the attitude of people towards fitness, towards dancing, and especially towards dancing, because it's a massive taboo. Because people think if I'm not good enough, then I shouldn't be dancing. But you know,
yeah.
moving is in our bodies, and once you get that tiny little bit of confidence, it does change your life. I mean, it has changed your life. It has changed my life. I've got a degree of mechanical engineering that I never worked on. I've never even touched it. I've been doing this for the last 9 years now. So it is as you say, that we need to shift the focus from ourselves, from us becoming better and showing off more, to being able to shift the focus onto our clients and our members, and how can we get more people to change their behavior and follow up. So yeah, absolutely. What you're saying is amazing.
And just to go on what you said there, I'd like to have because what you were saying about us as fitness instructors, trainers, whatever, the way we need to be kind of mentors, psychologists, and stuff as well. That's actually a topic that I'd like to actually probably have another conversation
Yeah, oh, absolutely,
just
yeah.
about that in general, because there's one thing I say I've been saying for years, you know, and I find myself getting a little bit frustrated at times because I'm always saying it to, especially to the next generation of instructors, this isn't about squatting and doing press ups. This isn't it. Because people will say to me, like, because I could, how can I say this? At times, I find I care more about the people that come in, the customers that come in. I care more about their goals than they do at times, you know. And
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. I totally get that. I totally
like,
get that.
and what people have often said to me, and a lot of my colleagues do say to me, because they be saying, "Ah, come on, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink," you know. So basically saying, look, you can only do so much, but I think it's like what you're saying. It's more than just saying squat 10 more of them, 10 more of these. Like, yeah, like, did you ever hear that saying before? You can take a horse to water,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
can't make
yeah.
you can't make a drink, you know? And people who say that to me all the time, I say, okay, I get it, but don't stop showing the horse where the water is. Do you know what I mean? So you might
Mhm.
take it there, but at least acknowledge to the horse, there's where there's where you can get it. You know, that way you can't just give up on people. So, like what you were saying there, it's our job to try and get in here, and we were, you know, and that's what people have said to me over the years. It wasn't the training that you did with me, it was the talks we had, it was the conversations that we had, you know, that inspired me in here to make changes in here. But the other thing, what you said there is, as instructors, and this is why I think I'd love to have another chat about this, because I
Yeah,
spoke to a couple of other people and they think it's really, really interesting, because instructors, look at the lockdown, for example, okay? What was everybody doing? Hey, instructors, instruct me, keep me fit, keep me healthy, keep me sane. What was going on with the instructors? They were losing their jobs.
Yeah, they were losing their jobs.
Okay, so we had to have that smiley face then. So I think there's a big expectation on us as instructors, you know, because if you look at our industry, how badly affected the fitness industry was during all this. And people put, I think as instructors, there's a lot of pressure on fitness instructors. And we're not educated as psychologists. Okay?
No, and I mean, the first interview I did was with a good friend of mine who works for Mental Health England. And we were discussing exactly that, on how mental health affects instructors. And he was telling me, like, look, all these people are coming to you, they're sharing, they're giving you your problems, but what do you do about yourself? Yeah. What do you do about yourself? Do you empty your stress bucket? Do you do something about yourself, or do you just keep piling those problems into you? When we are not educated to deal with such stuff. That's true.
So, and this is where I'm coming at. So yeah, but what will happen is, Geraldo, the same person will come with you and haggle for 15, 20 pounds and try and negotiate when you're giving them nutritional strategy, training advice, and doing what the bloody psychologist would do. Yet they go to the psychologist and pay £70, no problem, no questions asked, sit down for a conversation and go. Whereas when it comes to us, what am I going to get? You know, so I think there's been a lot of pressure on us as instructors. I don't know, I can just speak for myself, you know, because a lot of instructors won't talk about these things.
It's the same everywhere. The pressure is massive, and I don't know how it's in Ireland, but the pay is, I mean, I can judge because I've lived in Holland, I've lived in Greece. The pay is not as much as it should be for a freelance instructor.
No, and it's not respected. It's not respected for the service that we give, you know. So yeah, I think there's a big expectation on us, but instructors won't talk about these things because you got to paint a picture of your Batman. You sleep upside down. You know you don't. You smile every second of the day. You know, people are afraid to, like, instructors, we're supposed to have this picture of health, this, that, and the other all the time. But think of the pressure. Like, you think of during the lockdown, and even now, the amount of instructors I know. I've seen a past student of mine, and I seen him online, and his gym had to close and stuff like that. And then I seen him on his 5th day. He was crying with his people online. The guy was broken, was absolutely broken. And people are out there saying, hey, where are you? The gym is closed, give us the class. Like, and the pressure on this guy, he was crying. He was absolutely broken, you know? So many people are losing this, and there's a lot of pressure being put on instructors. Now, other instructors that don't care, that are in it for the money, it won't affect them, you know? But the instructors that, when we signed up for this, we signed up for the whole ethics behind it. You know, it's because not about the money. You know,
you are responsible for a community of people, and it's. I mean, during the first lockdown, I had a community of 30, 50 people that I had to talk to daily, and you know, we had communication, and there were people that, as you say, they had problems. They were taking the problems out. I was trying to help them mentally. I was trying to help them physically. I was trying to help them in terms of nutrition. But you are right. I don't think we are not recognized for what we are doing, multifaceted. We're just like, oh, he's the squats guy. He's the step guy.
Yeah. He's the step guy, exactly. And it's so frustrating because, like, on my social media, for example, people don't see the other stories. They don't see the one-to-ones that I've done. All people see is the step, like what you say. Oh, he's the step guy, but they don't see the amount of volunteer times, probably the odd day you might go to someone's home off work hours just to have a bit of lunch or a bit of a catch up with them. You know, there's a lot to this job that people don't really understand. You know, they don't see the full picture of it. Like you could get, so you're going to be someone's step instructor, Pilates instructor. You're going to be their mentor. You're going to be their inspiration. You know, you're going to be their first UK friend because they've moved from another. Like you don't know. You're many things to many different people. You're not just that instructor. And sometimes it's the longer you're in an industry, your network gets bigger. You're spread across different gyms, and there's only so much you can give. You know, like when you first start to present, if you're on 1 or 2 events, you can promote all the time for those events. But then you have 20 events in a year. You got to spread yourself thin. You've got to give a little bit of time to them, a little bit of time to this event, that event, and it gets harder. So the longer you're doing this, the more baggage. So for me, I can't, if I have a sit down with you today and I'm doing a one-to-one session with you and I hear some horror story from you, I haven't got the training. I'm upset. So if I see you and you come into me and you share the story with me and something really bad has happened to you, I can't just, when you're gone, forget about that, you know? So I think maybe I was actually thinking of develop. I've had a talk with a few people about this, you know, about developing an actual part of the syllabus on the education for fitness instructors that focuses on how to protect yourself, you know, from people's stories like that.
Yeah, no, it's very important. It's very important. And again, I was discussing this in the first interview about mental health, and it's a massive issue because mental health is about to explode in all areas. Everybody's going like crazy, and we work. I mean, I was back in work now, and I had like 8 classes a week. Each class had 15 to 25 people, and that's all the amount of feedback I get from people. And you do have to make sure you're keeping yourself sane. And sometimes we want to help people, but most of the times we need to remember that it's not our place to help them. I mean, we can talk with them, but it's not our place to help them. And it's hard if it's someone like you who's really like enthusiastic on helping people, and me on trying to get involved. But it's, yeah, we definitely need to understand that it's not always our place to get involved. Well, I think we've been more than an hour, and I know you've got a class in a little bit.
Yeah, because once we get going, once we get talking about anything, you know me.
Yeah. No, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I'd love to have another chat anytime soon on a different subject. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Thanks for all the best. I'll put all the details of you in the description so people can get into your Welcome to Freestyle class. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. I will speak to you soon.
You too, buddy. You too, buddy.
Take care of yourself.
Thanks for having me on. Sorry I kept you going probably a bit longer than you expected.
No. I wish we could have kept going for
we could go all day. And I'm actually in work myself, so I have to actually do a bit of work now as well. So
perfect. Take care of yourself, and I will speak to you soon.
Cool, will do.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.